What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how are we doing today?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. We got another State of the Union episode. We were just saying before we record, I feel like we always do these. Not really our fault. The Yankees give us many reason to, and that's not a good thing. So yeah, just gonna talk some Yankee baseball. 6 days off the nicotine, dude. Thank you. How you doing?
Nice, nice. Yeah, we obviously I feel like we've been doing a lot of these episodes lately, but I feel like losing a series to the Rockies in devastating fashion kind of calls for a little State of the Union app. We're closing in on the trade deadline. And we have a lot of things to look at. So it's gonna be like a therapeutic session once again. I feel like the fan base could use it. But how was your weekend, Dan?
It was it was all right. Besides the Yankees, I mean, this was a borderline a breaking point for me this weekend. I'm pretty level headed for the most part. I try to have discipline in how I react to losses. Two run blown leads in the eighth inning or later for the Yankees. That's the first time it's ever happened in their history.
Wow.
Regular
Look
season.
at that. Look at that.
Get me over the edge, dude. I'm kind of going crazy, but here now. I have a question for you though.
I have an answer for you.
Did you do any deer hunting this weekend?
Yeah, no, I
You
didn't.
look phenomenal though, by the way. Like it works. I
Thank
just
you.
want to see you wear this color.
Thank you. Yeah, no, more like dark earthy colors. I'm with it lately. Yeah.
I supported 100%. Besides the fact that we were supposed to match today, and you know
No, we
that.
weren't.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were.
No,
Monday
we never
show.
said that.
Yeah, we said
We
we were gonna
never
match.
said.
It's all good though.
It's fine.
Foco has some deer hunting equipment as well. Code Yankees Avenue.
Well, what's with the deer hunting?
All right, you have
Bro,
to
it's a
understand what I mean.
brown shirt and a camo hat.
If it
What
weren't
kind
for
of
the
deer
camo hat,
hunting, bro?
that's it. It's the camo hat with the Chevy logo. Once again, looks
Okay.
phenomenal. But you got to understand the vibe I'm coming off of here. I mean, that's something you would wear if you were going deer hunting and you didn't want to
That's
dress
just
up too
not
layered.
true.
You don't want to dress up too layered because it's hot outside, but you got to blend in with the woods. Whereas I'm wearing
If
a nice.
anybody hunts deer in the chat, let me know if this is an outfit that you'd rock with. I don't think it would be, but if it is, let me know. Um, But before we get into anything, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Foco. Use code Yankees Avenue at checkout, save 15% off. We'll show you guys some stuff later, but yeah, let's get right into it, Dan. And you know what? Let's start it off by asking a very simple question. And I think we might have the same response to this question. But should the Yankees sell off at the trade deadline? Now as far as the standings go, bro, it's kind of wild because the Orioles are on an upward trajectory and the Rays are kind of falling off a little bit. So as far as the AL East goes, the Yankees are currently 9 games back of first place. They're tied with the Red Sox in last. The Orioles are only a game behind the Rays now, which is kind of wild considering like it felt like the Rays were completely separated from everyone else. As far as the wild card goes, the Yankees are tied with Boston as well, 2 games back of that third wild card spot, which is currently owned by Houston. So, listen, 2 games back of a playoff spot. We're inching towards like late July trade deadline. Do you think the Yankees could sell off at the deadline? And also, who could they even sell off at the deadline?
No, I don't think we're there yet. I mean, as for who they could sell, I mean, although the bullpen's really been shit in the bed as of late, which hasn't been fun, there's a lot of pieces in there that you could get some prospects back for. And you also go around the diamond. I mean, as much as shit if you talk about them, you could get something for Gleyber Torres and some other supplemental pieces as well. Even if you really were to go all in, like there's pieces of the rotation you could sell as well. I mean, Domingo Hermonte can get back a big return. Even Nestor Cortez, like there's pieces you could net a return back for. But no, I don't think the Yankees should sell. They are still technically in it. Like you mentioned, they're only 2 games out of a wild card spot. You mentioned the Rays. What's really frustrating, dude, is just 2 weeks ago, right around the 4th of July, we take those first 2 games against Baltimore. And we were only at that point, I think, a game and a half or 2 games behind them, back of the Orioles. And now they're only one back of the Rays. Like how bad Tampa Bay's been playing, it was right in front of us, dude, to fix
Yeah.
our shit, right the ship for this season. And we haven't done that. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Rockies is once again, we've had points in the season before many times where we've had to come on into a State of the Union, worst losses of the year. There's probably been 10 worst losses of the year. But now, how late it's getting, man, there's not much more of this you can take because it's not just some blip on the radar. The Yankees, over the last 162 games, are 83-79. Who does that fall on, Pat? Who does that fall on?
Falls on Brian Cashman.
Falls on Brian Cashman, 1,000%. You cannot have a $290 million payroll and have a roster that's only good enough for an 83-79 record. It's embarrassing. It's seriously embarrassing. And now we're at the point, I won't get as radical as maybe I was suggesting before the call, but we have to do something as fans. And that's totally out of the norm of how I normally think, because I often don't think it's going to do anything, and it probably won't. But if this continues, we are going to have to show up outside Yankee Stadium. Honestly, I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly what the itinerary for the day would be, but there has to be some fear put into the Yankees organization, not about anything physically, nothing physical harm. That's not what I mean. But something has to be dealt with here, and I think it's almost getting to the time where fans have to take action. I'll let the rest of the season play out, and the Yankees will have themselves a deadline. That's part of why I also say no, they shouldn't sell, because I know they are going to buy. We've heard we know they're interested in Cody Bellinger. We're also hearing now that they could be interested in Randall Grichuk. They're going to upgrade one way or another, and there's a lot of season left. A lot of shit can happen. But if we have another year turn out the way the past years have turned out, and looks like we might be headed that way, something has to change, and we have to do something about it. Honestly, I'm not bullshitting. Dead ass. As fans, we have to do something about it.
Okay. I think listen, I'll answer the question, should the Yankees sell at the deadline? I'm gonna say no, just because, like, bro, you're 2 games back with a playoff spot. I think this team is definitely capable of making the postseason and maybe making a run. But obviously, as of right now, I think the Yankees' quote unquote injuries are a little bit overblown. Like, the only injury they do have is Aaron Judge, right? Like, sure, Nestor too, but the rotation isn't really a problem. So I'm not looking at that as like a big glaring spot.
Yeah.
It's really just Aaron Judge that's out, bro. Like, okay, Donaldson's missing some time. Oh, who cares? The fact that, like, you built the roster so deeply around one guy, I can't really blame the Judge injury as to, like, why you might miss the postseason. That's no one's fault besides the New York Yankees for building the roster in such a way. But I think you could definitely go out. You need some drastic moves at the deadline. Otani probably not very likely, but if you could get me like Bellinger, Jake Berger, like, give me like a combination of like a bunch of random guys who could maybe like piece together a solid offense for the Yankees, like 2021 Brave style, right? Like, they had glaring holes in their lineup in 2021. What they do at the trade deadline, they go out and they trade for Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, Jorge
Bunch
Soler.
of
Like, they
supplemental pieces. And they were at this point 44 and 46, actually, which is interesting.
exactly. Exactly. So you go out and you make like a bunch of supplemental pieces, which is like something I feel like the Yankees have had a really tough time doing, in at least in this core anyway. Like, they've always gone out and they've gotten the big fish, right? Like, you've gotten Cole, you've gotten Stanton, you've gotten Judge, but like they've struggled so mightily with those supplemental pieces around them, right? And Rodon was nice, but I mean, we've only seen him make 2 starts as a Yankee, and only one of them was good. Um, and yeah, it just feels like we haven't really seen like those key supplemental pieces. But I really do want to take a little bit of time to talk about this weekend series against the Rockies, because that's what's really calling for this State of the Union. You lose 2 out of 3 to one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, and Sunday was really the icing on the cake, right? It just felt like, bro, you had Garrett Cole on the mound, 11 strikeouts, another like masterclass performance from your ace, and the offense was completely feeble once again, bro. Going up against 6 ERA Chase Anderson. At one point, they had a 3-0 lead. And the fact that the bullpen decides to blow, it was a 3-0 lead, right?
3-0 in what, game one? It was
No, game on Sunday.
Sunday. We had yeah, it was 3-0 lead, or 3-1 lead,
Or
I think.
3-1, 3-1, 3-1. The fact that you had a 3-1 lead and then you end up blowing it late in the game. And bro, it just felt like one of those games where the Rockies were trying so hard to give the Yankees the game. And the Yankees just kept saying, nah, bro, nah. The Colorado Rockies, if you sat down and watched that game on Sunday, the only reason the Yankees scored so many runs as is because the Rockies decided to throw the ball all over the field every single time the Yankees would put a ball in play.
Yep.
So I'm not even like crediting the Yankees for scoring 7 runs, making it a close game. I think every aspect of what we saw in the game on Sunday was pathetic. And if the Yankees were playing a real baseball team, they would have lost that game probably like 8-2. So just this weekend as a whole, it was disgusting. It was putrid. It was feeble. The Yankees walked into Colorado and they basically like bowed down to 3 pitchers who had 6 ERAs coming into their starts, and they lost the series, bro. And losing series like this, this deep into the season in the position that you're in where you need to win every single series is absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, and even the game they won on Saturday, like I can't even say that was a breath of fresh air even at the time because all right, you go out and you score 6 runs, but then you get shut down 6 2/3 against one of the worst bullpens in baseball. The Rockies bullpen is terrible. It's a bottom five bullpen in baseball. And then from like I'm watching the Yankees Yankees encore right that night, which usually what I'll do is have it on the background, and it's the third inning. They score their 6 runs, and then it dawns on me, it's like, oh shit, so they don't score from this point forward. I mean, even our good game, the one that we won, it wasn't like a satisfying victory.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to criticize Dylan or Sean Casey yet at all. It's only been a few games, but like the offense, what the issue here is that it's just not good enough. It doesn't have good enough players, and until you add good players, we're going to have this same problem. I don't really care what Sean Casey does, and I'm once again still excited to have him on board. But you need to improve the team. I'll say this: a positive. Giancarlo Stanton is definitely looking a lot better. He seems to kind of now out of his slump, finding at the plate since July 5th, he's batting 260 with an OPS over 1 dot. So that's a positive there. DJ LeMahieu had a couple multi-hit games. Josh Donaldson, I think you mentioned him going on the IL. I think he's done now. I mean, hamstring injury. When would he come back? A month from now? You assume whether it's Peraza taking over or if the Yankees go out and get Candelario or whatever it may be. I think Donaldson's time now is done. So if there's positives, it's probably just those 2 or 3 things. But you're absolutely right. It was an embarrassing series, dude. And now we head to Anaheim. You got Severino on the bump on Monday. He better turn it around. Like we don't have the problem is we don't have time to. It's getting very late, man. Like while yes, we can mention, and it's true, Braves at this point were 44-46 in 2021. They went on to win the World Series. The Yankees are 50-44. They're only 2 games out of a playoff spot. It is right there for them, but it's not like you can continue to play this subpar, mediocre baseball and think, oh, once Judge comes back in a month, we'll be able to figure it out. Like no, you might dig yourself in so deep of a hole that you can't get out of, even when you get the best player in baseball back, which is happening. But we're still quite a ways away. He's another positive. We did see him he's taking BP. He's running. Judge is getting closer. Now it's kind of it's starting to become a tangible thought in your head. Like, all right, this dude's going to be back somewhat soon, but who knows? Maybe it's too late by then. I mean, what are we going to be? 500?
Bro, it becomes a very, very tricky scenario, right? Because it's something that I think we kind of just have to realize, like, take the first, I don't know, 3 months of the 2022 Yankees out of the equation, right? The Yankees have been a bad baseball team since 2020. You know what I mean? And at some point, you kind of just have to look in the mirror and be like, yo, maybe this just isn't a good baseball team. And maybe it's just, yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, also, like, sure, it's a big thing to say, but take the juice ball out of the equation 2019 when they were playing with that roster of misfits. Like, who knows what they would have been, right? Like, they probably just would have been the same as the 2020 Yankees.
It's a
So,
good point, Pat. Real quick. I mean, that's a phenomenal point. The juice ball era may have just totally, and this isn't an excuse, but legitimately, you can make a case that it fucked up the trajectory of like the baby bombers or this era. I mean, do we re-sign DJ LeMahieu to a 6-year, $90 million deal for not the juice balls? Gleyber Torres, like,
probably because he put up a nice 2020 too.
well, that was juice balls were through 2020. It was
You think?
yeah, it was 18, 19, and 20. 2021 was the first year they got rid of them, which coincides with DJ's massive fall off along with the sports hernia. But also you had Gleyber Torres. Like, are we so sure he's a corner piece of this franchise, if not for the juice balls? Even I mean, I was gonna say Josh Donaldson. He had a good year in 2021 too, but there's many factors to where like, yo, if not for the juice balls, maybe the Yankees don't buy into something. I mean, Gio Urshela too. Is he your fucking starting shortstop at the end of 2021 if he doesn't have the great juice ball years in 19 and 20? So, I mean, I just want to comment. That's a good point by you, dude. But they've been average. You're absolutely 100% right. They've been average. That's what the 83-79 record is. That's complete mediocrity. And one last thing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. But
No, you can.
I always say, like, because people bring up, like, oh, just because you lose Judge doesn't mean you should be this bad. It makes sense that there would be a massive hit. Like, it makes sense that you go from being here to here without Aaron Judge. However, here to here with when talking, okay, you have the best player in baseball, you don't have the best player in baseball. It should be like, World Series contender, you're a 100-win team, you're very good, and you have a chance to win the World Series this year. Without Judge, all right, maybe you're like a 90 to a 95 win team that's still good enough because you have a good supplemental roster with a $290 million payroll. That's not the case, though. The Yankees without Aaron Judge are a little over 500 at best. That's not how it should be. You should have a roster way better than that can still, for a month or two, be able to stay on their feet and win baseball games and not get embarrassed by the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, you're looking at a team that's been mediocre now for like 4 seasons, and you kind of just have to look in the mirror as far as roster construction goes and just say, yo, maybe this group of guys that we've put together just isn't going to get the job done. And I think it's a shame to say because right now, we saw it on Sunday. Like, we're in the prime of Garrett Cole. We're in the prime of Aaron Judge. And the fact that these two guys are in the prime of their careers, I can't really say the same for Judge this season, but like giving their all for the New York Yankees. You could say the same for Judge last season, giving their all for the Yankees. And it just feels like they don't really have any support. It's annoying, bro. Like, especially like just witnessing greatness on the field and just kind of like not really seeing the results for it. And I think that's why at the deadline, the Yankees shouldn't necessarily sell, but I'd love to see a retool, bro. Like retool the team just enough to give it a fresh new look, but also stay competitive and put yourself in a position to make a postseason spot. Whether that is, I don't know, dealing
Trading
Glaber,
relievers probably, or I mean,
yeah, trading a couple of the relievers, but like I need to see some new, fresh faces, bro. I don't think I'd be content with going out and getting a Lane Thomas, bro. What does that do for the New York Yankees? Absolutely nothing. It does nothing. At this point, you need like a player who's gonna come in and not only like shift the lineup completely, but bro, also shift the mentality of the fans, the clubhouse. Like, bro, something needs to change. And I'm sorry, like we were hoping maybe hiring Sean Casey as the hitting coach would do the job. I don't think at the end of the day, the hitting coach really has much of anything to do with like clubhouse stuff and whatever. I think you need on field performance to replicate like what we want to see as fans, and that's just success. And right now, we're just not seeing it, bro.
that's dude. Going back to what I said, I mean, you just need better players. Ultimately, in the end, that's what the issue here is, and that's why I always go back to this is all on Brian Cashman. He's in charge of what players are on the roster. Now, as for a retool, I wouldn't like. I just don't think it's going to happen. I still think he's going to go all in. But the bullpen, that's where you would. I mean, you could get something for like if you were to trade Tommy Kahnle right now. I mean, you could get something back. If you were to trade Michael King, you could get something back. He should have been in the game on Sunday, by the way. Ron Marnacchio, I love you, dude. Shout out to Tom's River. He's really been having a bad year, pretty
I
much.
despise him.
Like he's
I
shit
don't
the
like
bed.
him.
No, I like him, but I'm not a fan of how he's been performing lately. And
No,
by
no,
the
I
way,
don't.
Judge, I don't think we can say Judge hasn't given his all this season. The reason he's not here is because he does give it his all and he goes 100%. I mean,
Well, no, but no. But you can say he's given
you're not
his
insulting
his.
his like competitive style of play. You're just saying he's not around. I mean, you can't disjudge for any of this.
No. But you can diss his non-presence to this
But
team.
that's
You know
nothing to
what I mean?
him. That would have happened to anybody. I mean, if
It
you just
doesn't. No, but it doesn't matter. He's not here, so you can't say that he's given his all for this team this year because he's not here. You
he
know what I
has
mean?
given his all. What more could he do? The reason he's not here is because he did give his all into
He
that
had a
wall.
freak injury.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why he's not here.
Injury. So that's why also too, it's not like he had some calf strain and it's like, okay, he just can't handle it. It's a freak injury, nothing you can do.
Dan, Judge hasn't. Dan, the reason the Yankees aren't good, a major reason the Yankees aren't good this year is because Aaron Judge isn't playing. I can't
Right.
sit here and say that like Judge has been has been here for the Yankees all season and he's been doing such a great job and they're still doing bad.
Are you
Bro, he
blaming it on
hasn't
him
been here.
though?
Who said that? Who said I'm blaming it on
Hey,
Judge?
yo, hold the fucking phone. We're having a conversation. I'm asking you, are you blaming it on him? That's all I'm curious about.
Does it sound like I'm blaming it on him?
I mean, Pat, you when you said he hasn't given it his all, it raised my ears a little bit. It didn't really make much sense. He is giving it his all. It's just unfortunate it led to an injury. That's why he can't play.
Bro, I cannot sit here and credit Aaron Judge at all for the
Not about crediting,
2023
but you
season.
shouldn't discredit him just because he got hurt.
Who's discrediting him?
Pat, I mean, we'll watch it back. I'm just trying to have a
Bro, you could
conversation and
watch it
ask you a
back. I
question.
said Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge are in their primes, and they're giving it all for this team. And then I'm like,
Judge and
yo,
Cole are the
can't
one-
really say the same about Judge this season because we're not seeing him on the field. That it's
Right.
as simple as that.
I'm saying you'll have a tone in your voice where it sounds like you're insulting the guy when it's not his fault. It's anything that's a compliment to him, the fact that he goes all out for his team. And that's what we're talking about here. I just wanted to get it clarified, Pat. Okay.
No, it's
Bring it up. Let's just forget. I mean, that's not even what we're talking about here.
it's just it's
What? It's what, Pat?
there's just no reason to be up Judge's ass that much though.
I'm gonna be up Judge's ass.
No, like you think I'm dissing him, and then I have to clarify this, bro. I'm clearly not dissing Judge at all.
Well, that's why I'm clarifying. If it was clear, Pat, I wouldn't fucking need to clarify, would I?
It was clear. It was very clear.
No, if it was clear, I wouldn't have needed to clarify. That's how
Okay.
it works, Pat. Okay. Maybe we should do Foco and then talk about fucking, I don't know. But
Yeah, before we get into anything else, want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Foco. Use code Yankees Avenue at checkout, save 15% off your order. Bro, they have a bunch of fun stuff. Dan, your shirts from Foco. I know I was supposed to wear mine today. Apparently, that was never even
so you do admit
configured,
that.
but No, 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 no. That's what you're claiming. We never agreed on that. But yeah, they have a lot of fun stuff. We got some bobbleheads, we got some pins, we got a bunch of fun stuff. Yeah, go check it out, bro. And if you haven't already, you're kind of a fraud because we've been mentioning them every episode for like 4 months now.
No, for real. Let's put the Yankees aside for a second and let's just talk about football. What is your favorite football team, Pat? Because I'm a Jets fan and I'm gonna get some. No, I'm saying for Foco. I think I might go out and get decked out for the football season via Foco. So don't stress if you don't want to get Yankee shit right now. If you're a football fan, do that. Or if you're a Knicks fan, go out and do that. They have so much shit. Go to Yankees
Yeah.
Avenue, 15% off. I don't even know. Are you like a
No,
no? Not even
no.
a
I'll
throw.
I'll root for whoever's like doing good. Like, oh, the Giants were in the playoffs last year. I was a Giants fan.
Hmm. What if
Yeah.
the Jets make it? Are you gonna root for them?
Yeah.
Or so you kind of
Yeah.
root for them?
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh.
the same way. Even in baseball, like I'll still root for the Mets to do well. Is that weird to me?
I will not root for
If
the
it
Mets to do
doesn't
well, but
affect how the Yankees do, like I will, like I want to see the Mets succeed. Really, just from
I
a
don't
stop radio.
care. I
Like if they're boring, it's more interesting just for like the market if they're good.
I'd rather see the Mets fail.
Really,
Yeah, because it like as especially right now, I would be so pissed off if the Mets were like the best team in baseball while the Yankees were shit in the bed. It makes me feel a little bit better that we're both in a bad position.
that's part of it too. Though, also, I guess is because I guess I've never had like the Yankees. I mean, they're in last place now, so I could say it. But say the Yankees were totally bottoming out, and this year could ever end up being a good example. Like I would not want the Mets to be doing well this year,
Exactly.
but the reason I do, or like if I were to be somebody that would hate on the Mets, it's not because of them. It's because their fans are just horrible. No disrespect for
I
watching.
don't mind seeing them do good. I just don't want to see them do better than us. Like if they go further in the postseason than us, or like you know what I mean. I just don't want to see them do better than the Yankees.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess I never really had to worry about that. And also just with the fans, the second they win like 2 or 3 games in a row to begin the season, it's like we're going to the World Series, and that is always the most annoying fucking thing.
Well, I mean, bro, like I can't even piss on Mets fans because we look at Yankee fans and they're 10,000 times worse. Like
Oh
I'm scrolling
no.
through Twitter sometimes, dude, and listen, don't get me wrong, like I love the camaraderie of Yankees fans. I enjoy the fan base, but you scroll on Twitter sometimes and I can understand looking from an outside perspective why Yankee fans are so hated, dude. They have some of the most insufferable tweets, takes, opinions in all of baseball. And if you aren't a Yankee fan, like I would hate the Yankees fan base, especially on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean probably. Probably. I think most fan like I think it's a good thing to hate another fan base, especially rivals. Like I don't think it would make sense for say Houston Astros fans to like us or Red Sox fans to like us. Obviously, that's how it should go. I think sports are at their best when like opposing fan bases passionately hate each other. I still think Mets fans are way worse, though. I mean, they have any slight sense of being decent, even last week or before the All Star break, where they were kind of like getting on their feet a little bit, getting to within being 5 games under 500. It's always just like they ride with it till the fucking. I don't know. I don't
Bro,
want to.
you're describing Yankees fans though. Like if the Yankees would have won that game on Sunday, everyone would have been popping on Twitter being like, "Ha ha ha, the Yankees are so good, bro." Like you know what I mean? Like, and that's part of the reason it's like I look at this team right now and I think you have to maybe question, would it be worth it to miss the postseason completely? Right? Because I think making that wild card series, it might be a 2021 situation, right? Sure, you enter yourself in the crapshoot and anything could happen. But let's say you lose that wild card series, which would be very possible because we'd probably match up with like the Rays or who knows at this point. I think as of right now, it'd be the Orioles if we snuck into that third spot. But you make a playoff spot and the organization could just ride with that, right? Like, oh, we made the postseason this year. We dealt with a lot of injuries, even though it's really just Judge, and that's the reason that we were in a great team. If you miss the postseason, maybe there's some sort of accountability held. And I feel like that this is a conversation that we have like basically every season at this point because it feels like the Yankees are in the same position every season. But I don't think it's an insane thing if someone was rooting for the Yankees to not make the playoffs this year in hope that it would finally cause some organizational changes, whether that's like Cashman gone, Boone gone, roster retool, something. Because I think the only way we'll get that is if they do miss the postseason. So I can't blame someone who would be rooting otherwise.
No, it is a fair take. I could never have it in me to actively root for the Yankees to lose. Long term, though, I mean that maybe that is the best thing for them. I still would like to think that even if they do get into the playoffs, which here's the thing, I think they still will. I mean, if you get Judge back in August, you're probably going to make the playoffs. But regardless, if you get bounced in the first round again, or not again, but if If you don't make the World Series again this year, it should have the same consequences if you don't make the playoffs. Because what's the difference, really? I mean, we always talk about with the Yankees, it's championship or bust. That's all House says. That's what the whole organization philosophy has been. So if you don't win a championship or even get to the World Series, shouldn't that be on the equivalent level of not making the playoffs? You would think so. Now, recent history shows that's not the case because then you just get rewarded with a 4-year extension afterwards. But yeah, I do truly wonder, like, what could get Brian Cashman fired? And do we truly believe that I think Boone might be gone? Once again, not the Yankees' problem, I don't think. Does missing the playoffs get Cashman fired after year one? I don't think so. I think Boone, yes. And if that's a victory lap for some fans, fine. I don't think Cashman goes after 1 year in. And
that's why. Well, it's not one. What do you mean 1 year in?
The extension.
I don't think the extension means anything, but I get what you're saying. I think it's just that's where it becomes very tricky, right? Because if you told me right now, if the Yankees miss the playoffs this year, Cashman's 100% gone, Boone's 100% gone, and they will completely revamp the roster in the offseason, yeah, I would forfeit a playoff spot this year for the sake of that. But I think it becomes very, very tricky because, like you said, even if they do miss the playoffs this year, like it's very likely they don't fire Cashman. It's very likely they don't fire Boone. It's very likely that they go into they might make 1 or 2 moves this offseason, but it's not like we're landing an Ohtani, right? It's basically we're going into next season with practically the same roster, bro. And I think that that's a lot of the downfall of the 2023 Yankees is we went into this season with the same exact roster, probably worse than we did at the end of last season when we got swept in the ALCS by the Astros. And I don't know why we expected anything different. Like maybe it's just dumb of us to think that like, yo, this was a 100 win baseball team. They very well could win 100 games. I don't see it happening. But I just,
what do we think? Like, let's go back to like our preseason predictions. What we said, I'm pretty sure, was always this Yankees team is good enough to make the playoffs. And of course, we were factoring with Aaron Judge. So that's true.
But when I say we, I meant more so like the Yankees front office. Like the Yankees, did they think it was a 100-win team?
But like even us, like what was our actual expectations going in? Like good enough team to make the playoffs. You absolutely have to add a left fielder. You need to upgrade the offense. I mean, that was the story since the first show after the conclusion of the ALCS last year. The Yankees need to upgrade their lineup. They need multiple pieces. And then all they did was bring back Judge. We complained about it a lot. And then we said going to this year, all right, you might be good enough to get by, but you need to upgrade by the deadline at the least. Dude, it's all comes to like a head of going back to 2017, this overall core. Since that Game 7 against the Astros, 2017 ALCS, we have done nothing to give us our best chance possible at winning a World Series. I mean, you can go year by year. Even sometimes I think about 2018, man, which often gets overlooked. But you're coming off a year so great. And what you do is, yes, you add Giancarlo Stanton, which is good for headlines, and it was a no-brainer of a deal. I don't blame them for making that move. But was that really enough to just be the move? I mean, think about what happens after that. I mean, what is your 2018 trade deadline? You get Jay Happ, and he was solid. You get Andrew McCutchen on a waiver deal. Nice moves.
Zach Britton.
Zach Britton too, but I mean, I'll apply him to that same logic. Is that really going all in? Is that like what the Astros did say in 2019? And not even year that they won, but when they went out and got Zach Greinke, like I'm saying, supplemental mid-trade in-season moves. Like, sure, you'll have the fish, as you mentioned. You get Stan, you had your Cole, you had Judge. Moves that the Yankees, no-brainers had to make. But on top of that, I mean, this core, you had it right in front of you, dude. You had a great young lineup, MLB ready. You had your payroll pretty much at its lowest point ever, luxury tax reset. You're like in the high 100s, ready to go. Your prospect system was budding, was like a top 5 in the sport. You had everything all lined up for you, and somehow you managed to fuck it up so bad, which just it almost doesn't seem possible to me. And like, the fact that the Astros wiped the floor with us last year makes the cheating thing a little bit easier to get over. But at the time, like that was part of why it was also so frustrating because coming off 2017, it's like, all right, who knows if we're actually even going to get back here. As good as things may be, like you never know. It's baseball. Things are weird. But even with that said, I never thought it'd be this bad to where in the Garrett Cole era, we don't even have an ALCS win. Not one ALCS win in the Garrett Cole era. Like if you were to tell me like, okay, you signed Cole the first 3 years.
That's crazy to think about.
You don't win a World Series. It's like, all right, that fucking sucks. But I would like to imagine they're competitive. They're in it. Maybe they went to Game 7 World Series and we were shooting down. I don't know. It's baseball. Once again, you haven't won an ALCS game since signing Garrett Cole. And that was the big fish. I mean, talk about the big fish. That was, we all considered to be it. But it also seems like the Yankees considered that was it too and didn't do anything else. It felt like very quick. Didn't it seem like very quickly this team, this core, and it probably was from 19 to 20. All of a sudden, they went from like best team in baseball with a really smart GM. Everything was working out so perfectly. Oh, the dark years were only a couple 85 win teams. Yankees are back being one of the best teams in baseball, this, and that. To very suddenly, it's like they're just mediocre again. Didn't it feel like it happened so quickly? Maybe it was just the juice balls. I don't know. But I don't
It
understand how
did.
it happened. It makes no sense, and it all falls once again on Brian Cashman.
Yeah. And bro, are we insufferable at this point? Like, is the Yankees fan base like insufferable? Like the fact that we're coming on here and the Yankees are what, 5 games above 500, 2 games out of a playoff spot. Like now I have to like start looking in the mirror and be like, we're complaining so much about this team. And what does it solve at the end of the day, right? Like we're obviously frustrated, but it's like, there's other teams out there that are in much worse off spots. And sure, you're the New York Yankees and you should be like much more competitive than the Pittsburgh Pirates per se. But I feel like we just have to come to a realization like the New York Yankees just aren't the New York Yankees anymore, right? And they kind of haven't been for a while.
Just good
And
Cashman.
I think the only thing that attaches the Yankees to those teams of the past is the name of the team, right? And that's why I hate so often when people are like, well, the 1996 New York Yankees had the same record through 39 games. You know what I mean? Just because there's absolutely no equivalence from this New York Yankees team now to the 90s dynasty or their early 2000s. What, the only same thing as Brian Cashman maybe and maybe a couple front office guys.
We shouldn't give
But
him that much credit. I mean, he profited largely off G. Michael, Bob Watson. I mean, he didn't have
yeah,
anything really to do with any of that.
no, yeah, I'm just talking like
I know.
organization
Yeah.
similarities, but you can't even say the uniforms are the same anymore because they got the Star Insurance patches. But it's just basically like I don't think I think we need to realize as fans the New York Yankees aren't the same Yankees we grew up with, and they might not ever be again. I think they're kind of just like a mediocre baseball team that's fine with mediocrity, and we just have to be cool with that at the end of the day. I think it's
I
just
don't
frustrating, but it is what it is.
I don't think we have to be cool with that. I really don't. And I understand. I would understand what you're saying if we went into this year similar to how, I mean, you look at the Yankees' record is this year compared to what it was in 2017. 2 years that are totally different, but also if you look at the records, right around the same. I think at this point in 17, they were about 4 or 5 games over. But what was the expectation going into that year? It was a retooling year. We were going in with young kids. We are going to see what they got, and we kind of didn't for the first time in a while. Didn't have true like we didn't even know if we are going to make the playoffs. We hoped for it, but we weren't exactly sure. What were we told this year, Pat? What's all we hear? World Series caliber what's the word they use? World Series caliber operation. That's all we hear. They set the bar that no, we're going to win a World Series this year. So if you were to say on the flip, run of the season, like, okay, Volpe's a shortstop, you're gonna have Waldo in left field. We're gonna kind of similar to 17, we're gonna retool, go with the kids and see where we're at like next year, come the trade deadline. If you set the expectations like we're kind of just seeing where we're at in like a retooling era of this Yankees team with new kids coming up, because you do have a lot of good kids in the system, that to me would have been a lot better. But that's not what the case is here. You set the expectation that we're trying to win a World Series here, and you're 50-44. And then I just feel
Yeah,
like Brian Cashman, just to think about it. I mean, like, and I think most people understand that, like, he really had nothing to do with the 90s dynasty. But you actually look at like when he took over, look at like the actual the mid 2000s when he had been around to actually make an impact. I mean, what is the story we always hear about those 2000 Yankee teams after 2001? You have the bad pitching deals, full of bad pitching deals. You have clubhouse chemistry that just doesn't mesh. I mean, you go read Joe Torre's book. What do they always talk about by the time you get to like the A-Rod years, 2004, 2005, 2006? These aren't the 90s Yankees. You're bringing in decent players who aren't capable of making a winning team. And that was all under Brian Cashman. And then you also had just the bad pitching acquisitions. Oh nine, congratulations. You spent $500 million in free agency, $500 million, and you end up winning World Series. That was a great season. But just one. Brian Cashman has the keys to a Ferrari for 20 plus years now, and he's crashed it every single year but one and got lucky. That's essentially what's happened here. You are the GM of the New York Yankees. If I were looking Cashman in the eye right now, you know what I'd say to him? I would look him in the eye and I'd say, Brian, I want you to truly understand how worthless you are as the general manager of the New York Yankees and how horrible of a job you did and how horrible you should feel about yourself. He shouldn't be able to wake up get out of bed in the morning, Pat. That's how terrible he should feel about himself because he's messed this whole thing up. It's a no-brainer you get into the playoffs when you're the GM of the Yankees, Pat. You need to win World fucking Series. And we have won in the last 20 years. Like, that's why we're mad. Like, Like, and I know you're like doing a little self-reflecting thing. I get that. But also it's like, no, we should have expectations of being a World Series team. But we just like don't because we have a terrible GM. So I don't think
Yeah.
it's fans who are at fault here, is my point. It just comes down to one man, the man who's in charge of the roster construction. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense, but I think also at the same time, like I think fans need to temper their expectations as long as Brian Cashman's at the helm. Just because I don't see things changing. But one thing I also do want to touch on, just on like the current state of the Yankees, is you might not feel the same way, but I think the current roster construction, it's a very unlikable team. Um,
Mm.
Maybe some people will feel different, but I find myself watching the Yankees, and it's not a team of guys where I really feel myself getting behind, right? And it feels like as of late, especially with everybody struggling, it just feels like a team that lacks that I don't even know how to say it. Like I don't want to say clubhouse chemistry because we don't really know what goes on in that clubhouse, but it seems to lack that camaraderie. And it becomes very frustrating because like I look at teams of Yankees past where it's like, yo, you look up and down the lineup, and I'm like, yo, I love every single one of these guys. I watched the game on Sunday, and the only guy I truly in that lineup, I'm like, yo, that's a New York Yankee, is Giancarlo Stanton. Don't get me wrong, like Harrison Bader has had some great moments as a Yankee, but I would say for the most part, it's kind of just been like lackluster to say the least. He's starting to get on my nerves a little bit. I don't know why. Just players seem to
Yeah,
get on my
on
nerves for no
that
reason.
play going to third.
Yeah,
That was
I
really bad.
it annoys me sometimes, and I feel like most of the time he kind of sucks at the plate. Anthony Volpe, he's gotten on my good side, but let's not ignore the fact that he's been putrid at the plate again after getting on like that massive hot streak. Like
Hard balls though.
oh, bad luck. But he's been bad. Like, let's just say, like, over the past, I think he's like one for his last 26 or
Not
something like that.
concerning. Rizzo is fucking concerning. Really.
Rizzo's another one. Like, I find myself like, I really like Anthony Rizzo as a person, but it's impossible to root for him as a player as of late just because he's
Yeah.
so damn bad. And whether that's an injury thing or whatever it is, figure it out. Gleyber Torres, you know the deal. Like, he's been solid lately, but I don't like him. Like, it's annoying, bro, because like I really want to like enjoy watching the New York Yankees, but nothing about him right now is enjoyable. And that's why like it goes back to what I said before. You're looking at two guys in their prime, Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, and you're completely wasting it, bro. And it's frustrating because those are the only two guys on the team right now where I look at them, I'm like, yo, they're winners, they want to win, they give it their all for their team. And it's just I don't know, dude. I'm kind of over it at this point because I feel like we're beating a dead horse.
Right. Yeah.
But
Probably right.
I think moral of the story is like the 2023 Yankees, they feel lost. They feel like there's no hope, but maybe there is. Maybe they go out and they make some insane moves at the deadline. We've seen them do it in the past. Brian Cashman made a lot of moves last year. They just didn't really work out. But I don't know. Maybe this year will be different. Maybe
That's
maybe
the
they go
thing.
out, make some moves, and sneak into the playoffs and have a run. But as of right now, like you can't just ignore the fact that this is a bad, bad, bad baseball team.
Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, there's not exactly. Like, I get your perspective about not being too many likable players. To me, I'll still like I love Anthony Rizzo. Gleyber Torres when he's good, I'm a big fan of. DJ LeMahieu too. Giancarlo Stanton you mentioned. Harrison Bader I love. They're not the guys I had the issue with. And if I were to have an issue with it, it would just be because they're struggling lately. Like I know even last year, you go back to like the first half. Like I mean, this was still when they're winning, and it's a very likable team. Go back to early June, like when they're winning, I still consider it a very likable team. For me though, it's like the like Franchi Cordero. Like what the fuck is Franchi Cordero doing on the roster? Billy McKinney too. I mean, dude, you had a nice little run, but what has he been over the last month?
Okay, can I say one thing about Billy McKinney? Like, I think he's a perfect example to use as to like why the Yankees fan base is so insufferable sometimes. Billy McKinney had like a good 2 week stretch. Bro, you had people literally acting like he was the saving grace of the New York Yankees. And obviously, like, bro, we knew Billy McKinney sucks. He shouldn't even be in the major leagues, bro. Like, can we just be honest? He's not a good baseball player. And the fact that he's getting like consistent starts in left field for the New York Yankees in a win now year is absolutely pathetic. And that's not a diss to
For a
Billy
month,
McKinney.
for over a month.
Exactly. And it's not a diss to Billy McKinney because, bro, he's just playing with the opportunity given to him. But the fact that, like, you're seeing him and Frenchie Cordero And bro, I know Oswaldo had a good day on Sunday. Oswaldo's another one who shouldn't be on a big league roster. He sucks, and he shouldn't be getting like consistent at bats for a win now New York Yankees. While you have a guy like Estevan Florial who's absolutely raking in AAA, and maybe he could be like your short term answer in the outfield until you go out and make a move the deadline. But the fact that you came into the season knowing that you needed an outfield bat and it's the end of July and you're still out there fielding Billy McKinney and Oswaldo Cabrera, it makes me sick, bro.
They should have gotten Yoshida, man. I'm looking up last year when I thought Benintendi's trade was earlier than this, but I guess it was July 28th. Because I always remember like a reaction trade. Like they lost a bad game, I think, to the Royals. And like, all right, 5 minutes later, you got Benintendi. We're gonna need one of those moves soon, man. Like you got to get Bellinger like this week or somebody this week, dude. You got Peraza up. That's nice. Not thinking he's going to save the world or nothing, but at least I think we're past the Josh Donaldson era.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. We should
It's
just
nice to see Peraza. Like
yeah, and that
it's a
that he had.
it's just frustrating that like the reason he came up is because Donaldson got hurt. And it's not because like they decided to promote him. I think that's the most frustrating thing. And it kind of like I don't know. It's more so like, oh Dan, like you're only going to prom with me because like you got rejected by the other guy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, I get it. But hey, you're going to prom with the person, so you got it now. We get out of here, I guess. It
this
was
is
a fun therapy episode, I guess. I mean,
no, this is a whack. No. This is a whack ass episode. Like if we're just being honest with each other, like I'm not coming off this episode being like, oh, that was great. No, this episode sucks, and like I think for
our
good
fault.
reason it sucks.
Yeah,
It,
no,
it's not
not
it's
like
not our fault. It's just
cool.
you look at the New York Yankees right now, and I think it would be a disservice to like come up with 5 topics and like talk about them. I think like I don't know. I don't want to do another State of the Union episode if I'm just being honest. Like
Yeah,
I hate these. I hate like these therapy sessions. You know what's been therapeutic for me lately?
Legos.
Lego. Okay, yeah, you just had to spoil it, dude. On Sunday during the Yankee game when bro they're giving up like walk off home runs. I'm putting together an up Lego set. It's downstairs, but bro, it looks so dope, bro. 600 pieces took me like 3 hours. Go do some Legos, bro.
Legos
Go
are
do
nice.
some Legos.
No, I like Legos too. I would always do the Lego Star Wars was always my
They
thing.
have a lot of those.
Time to time, yeah, like maybe once a year I'll bust out a Star Wars Lego set. But no, they definitely are therapeutic. And so is talking with you, Pat. So we got Angels, West Coast baseball. That's fun. 9:30. I am going to be in Oklahoma
Yay.
City tonight, which I got to figure out what exactly I'm doing for the game. I'm still going to be watching, but maybe I'll get rich. I don't know. Angels, you got Sevi on the Monday, on Tuesday, Rodon Wednesday. I mean, you just got to win, dude. Obviously, just got to win. I hope we come back. We got an off day Thursday. Take 2 out of 3. I don't fucking know, dude. You want to get out of here?
Yeah, but I do, but also at the same time, it's like annoying because I feel like there's like unfinished business. You know what I mean?
Only thing is, we can't don the pinstripes to take care of business on the field. We just gotta, you know what I mean? Like that's
No,
their.
I know. It like it feels like we said everything we needed to say, but also at the same time, it's like I don't know, bro. Like something just feels like
There's
missing.
probably little notes maybe that like I mean I'll just run through the news real quick, but like, are you saying little?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying like we missed on anything. It's more so just like I don't know. This episode's giving me like a void. Maybe it's just because like I feel like we've
Weird
had this
episode.
conversation so many times at this point, but I don't know.
No, this is an
I don't know,
episode
dude.
that like you don't like. We're not exactly gonna feel great about after. But once again, it's nothing to do with us. It's just like, do you think about it, Pat? If the Yankees end up looking good against the Rockies and sweep them, or even they took 2 out of 3 and looking fine, like we would have came on here at a normal 5 topic show. Not saying we would have been, oh, they're winning the World Series now. It would have been normal.
I
Everyone's
just don't like this
to
team.
do this.
I don't like the New York Yankees right now. Like if I'm being honest,
I
I would
feel
feel and
myself feeling. No, go on.
no, I I'm I don't know. Like I don't look forward to watching the games anymore. Like this Angel series especially, it's like, yo, even if you take 2 out of 3, like I'm not like looking forward to like turning on the unless it's a Garrett Cole or a Carlos Rodon start. Like there's nothing exciting about watching the Yankees right now.
Domingo Herman, dude. I'm with you a little bit on not. See, I can't say I don't find this team likable and I don't like them because like they take those first 2 games against the Orioles. Like I was riding high. Like, it comes down to when they win, I'm in love with them. When they lose, I hate them. And I been watching so long now to where like I recognize that feeling. So like the way I felt after we lost yesterday, it's like, oh, I hate this fucking team. I'm never watching them again. But I know that's not actually true. Because if they come out and they sweep the Angels, then all of a sudden I'm riding high feeling good. It's just I'm with you on the fact of like I don't like I'm not looking forward to watching it tonight, which feels like I'm embarrassed almost to say it. I never feel that way, but yeah. And a big part of that is you just got to get Judge back, which it's starting to be like now it's put me in a fucking coma, bro. Oh, I just actually punched myself. That was supposed to be a joke. Put me in a coma, bro, and just have me wake up then. You see that? You put your head down. Like I meant to like do this on actually. I literally just like socked myself in the head. That didn't feel good. You know what I mean? Like it'd be nice to just like knock myself out, wake up August fucking 12th or where the hell it is. Judge is back.
I
I'm
know. It's just dumb though. Like the fact that you're relying on one player to come back and kind of be your saving grace of the year. It just feels unacceptable to me. And it's something that we talked about early in the season. It's like, yo, one Judge injury and you're a last place team. Like it came true. And now the fact that you have to rely on like probably a 75% Judge coming back and kind of like rely on him to carry you to the promised land, it's inexcusable and it's dumb. And it's not something like Judge looked good in batting practice the other day, but bro, like Josh Donaldson looks good in batting practice every other day too.
not even.
So I'm not getting too excited, but when Judge comes back, he comes back. But I don't know, dude. It is
Protest
what it is.
outside the stadium
Huh?
in the off season. A protest outside the stadium.
No, I'm okay.
Shit. You really?
Yeah, I'm
Not
okay.
do about it.
Like
I mean, if you don't think it makes
like
a difference, I understand, and I don't really either. But also, like, I am at this just overwhelming rage watching this team lately, to where like I just need to do something about it. And like, I suddenly I do have a change of heart, to where like I do want to let them know. Before I never felt that way.
so why you could I mean, bro, like I feel like it's complicated because I feel like you have the platform, like we have this show, right? Like I feel like this is the avenue for you to be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think
It's
it
like
all means you can easily get something going, like the fact that like I can just put something on Yankees Avenue and see how other people feel about it. I don't know. Like for all I know, other people say it's a bad idea, and like I'm not gonna just go out there and do it myself. That would be pointless. Like I do want to like do some sort of like
protest for what exactly? Poor roster construction?
yes. Which sure, if you want to laugh at it in terms of like a major world issue, I get it. But to me, this is all. And somebody said to me yesterday, like it's not that deep. It's like no, like it is. Like as embarrassed as it might be, it isn't to me. It's not insulting to say like this is all I care about in life. Like this is the most important thing is the New York Yankees. So like, it might as well be a major world life threatening issue because the way I see it on my scale, it is, and it's gone on long enough.
Yeah, but that's something I've kind of come to terms with where it can't be. It
For me,
can't be.
no, it works. So like, if I were just like some random Joe, sure, but like it does play like for what I do. I mean, like as mentally ill as it might make me seem, like if there,
It's not what it makes you like. You are mentally ill.
sure, yeah, okay, no, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of like what I technically do profession wise, like I'm like in a spot where I can get away with it being the most important thing.
But it becomes unhealthy. You know what
It
I
is
mean? Because at the
getting
end of
there.
the day, like you have to realize, like the New York Yankees don't even know who we are, and here you are, like losing sleep over somebody who like doesn't even know you,
But it's
and
not.
also, bro, they don't care. Like
Well, that's all the same
if
thing.
you think that the Yankees are losing sleep over that Rockies series, and you are, like it's an issue.
Well, of course. But
I'm just saying.
that's fandom. I mean, listen, am I the first fan to lose sleep over the team losing? No, I don't think so. And of course, like the individual Yankees are not thinking about like Dan Rourke, and the Yankees aren't thinking about Patrick Hennessy. I understand that, but also like I can't just like use that as a reason to like okay, not watch tonight. Oh, like they don't care as much as I do. Like no, like, I'm a fan of the team. I love them to death. And in the end, what I drew for it's the logo. Like those motherfuckers that are wearing the uniform, a lot of them aren't even worthy of the fucking logo. But as for the logo, like that to me is like I get emotional when I look at it. I love the New York Yankees and I will for the rest of my life. But because of that, like I'm stuck in this marriage that, dude, it's borderline abusive with this shit. I mean, I was fucking. I mean, you kind of know. Like I really was off my shit yesterday, bro. And I just don't want to feel this way anymore. So I know what you're saying, but I'm stuck. I don't have a choice. We're here, and social's
Yeah,
bad.
well, that's why I kind of got myself out. Like I kind of got out of that when I was like 12, where I like let the Yankees like I'm not saying that as like a diss. Where
You
I'm
know
saying
that
like I
I have to
I
admit.
I can't let the Yankees dominate my mental health. I just can't let them dominate my life and impact my mental health. It's not worth it. And if some people still do, like I feel bad for you. It's
I
just
do.
it's not a good thing. But what are you gonna do,
So
bro?
they don't affect your mental health at all.
No. No, not at this point. I've like, especially that loss yesterday, bro. Like sitting back, doing my Legos, change channel to MLB Network, watch some other games highlights. Like at this point, I feel like I've become my expectations for this team are so low. Like I don't know why anyone would expect different. And I'm not gonna like get myself all worked up over losses like this because I'd be dead by now, bro. I'd have a heart attack by the age of 29. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't let them do it to me anymore. I just can't.
I'll be honest with you. I for the first time, and I think maybe this year, I had fucking tears leaving my eyes yesterday, bro. I was like,
That's actually crazy.
I had such like a legitimate mental fucking breakdown, bro. It was insane.
You
That was
had tears coming out.
part of also, yeah, like how much it was affecting me. Like I felt crazy, but yeah, and it was not good. But once again, I wouldn't change it for the world. I have to be this way. And when they do eventually win, the highs will be so much higher than the lows are. That's part of why I do very much enjoy. Like I think we've talked about this just about life, but like in terms of the Yankees, like how low I feel because of where they're playing right now will make the high all that much better because I know how this feels. And when they do come out on top eventually, it'll all be worth it. Going down with the ship, Pat. Are you going down with the ship?
Uh, no, I'm getting on a lifeboat.
No, you're not. You
No,
have to
dude.
down with the ship, bro. We're doing this show. I need you.
No, I know, but like mentally, right now, I have my foot in the lifeboat.
If they don't make the playoffs, that will be a weird fucking feeling, especially this time around. Like it's different when it's like
I
26.
think it would be a good feeling though. I think it
Maybe
would,
once
and
it actually happens, if it's like, all right, put me out of my misery. Right now, I still can't fathom it because July 17th, 2 games out, trade deadline coming up. Like,
you wouldn't rather miss the playoffs than lose in the wild card series. Because
like
like looking back to
that's
2021, like we were better off not making the wild card game.
sure. But like, are you telling me this like concrete? Like, okay, you either don't
Yeah,
make the playoffs.
concrete.
Okay, then no, of course, I would much rather miss the playoffs. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, but that's not actually what the real life scenario is, though, because like from a fan's perspective, like you don't know you're getting bounced in the wild card series. Like you could win it, and you could go on and win another round, go to the World
Whatever.
Series. The fact that it's in the back of your head,
Whatever, dude. I'm fucking over it. Yeah, I curse. Sorry, Christina.
sorry, Christina. All right, yo, fucking socials, you know where to find us. See you guys next time. Let's go, Yanks.
Her body's going like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting.